So we're going to take a look at the spiral review next. So number 1, Mrs. Rodriguez will make name tags for each of the 45 choir members and 30 orchestra members. The materials for each name tag cost 44 cents. What is the total cost of materials Miss Rodriguez will use to make these name tags? So the material cost 44 cents. So we need to figure out how many total members we're going to make name tags for. So I'm going to take the 45 choir members and I'm going to add the 30 orchestra members. And I can see that I need to make name tags for 75 members. And each name tag costs 44 cents. So I know that I need to multiply these two numbers together. Okay, remember, put your placeholder whenever you go to the next number. And 4 times 5 is 20, so I'm going to carry a 2 again. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. And I'm going to add these two rows together. Now with decimals, we need to count the number of places to the right of the decimal point in our problem. So I can see right here that there are 2 to the right. So I need 2 numbers to the right here in my answer. So I can see that number 1 should be F, or $33. So number 2, Abe is buying taco shells for a party. There will be 13 adults and 17 children attending the party. He plans to make 3 tacos for each adult and 1 taco for each child. There are 8 taco shells in each package. What is the least number of packages of taco shells Abe will need to buy in order to have enough tacos for the people attending the party? Well, I'm not even going to look at my answer choices just yet. I'm going to try to figure this out on my own for a second. So I can see that I have 13 adults, and I know that I need 3 tacos for each adult. So let's try to figure out how many tacos we need for the adults. So I'm going to multiply, and I can see that we need 39 tacos for the adults. Okay, and then I see 17 children here, and that's going to be 1 taco for each child. So there are 17 tacos for the kids. So how many tacos do we need total? Well, I'm going to take that and I would add those two together. So now let's start looking at our answer choices for a second. I can see the first thing I did was multiply 13 by 3. And I can see that only one of these answer choices even has 13 times 3 here. So that's looking pretty good so far. And then I want to add that 17 tacos for the children. And we want to do that first to figure out how many tacos total we need. And then we're going to divide by 8 because there are 8 taco shells in each package. So I take the total number of tacos I need, I divide it by 8, and so my answer for number 2 is A. Number 3, Mr. Nelson sold 147 bags of popcorn and 216 bottles of water in 3 days. At this rate, how many more bottles of water than bags of popcorn will Mr. Nelson sell in 5 days? There are a couple different ways to work this problem. I'm going to use the way that most students in the past have solved this problem. So they have done 147, they've subtracted that number from 216 to figure out how many more bottles of water than bags of popcorn were actually sold in those 3 days. So they did their subtraction. And there were 69 more bottles of water sold than bags of popcorn. So I know that there were 69 more sold in 3 days. So I want to know how many more will be sold in 5 days. So I'm going to cross multiply and divide. So 69 times 5 is 345. And then I know that I need to divide that number by 3. So I'm going to take 345. I'm going to divide that by 3. Bring down my 4. 3 goes into 4 one time with 1 left over, and I bring down my 5. And 3 goes into 15 5 times. So I can see that after 5 days, I'm going to have 115 more bottles of water sold than bags of popcorn. So that's H. Number 4 gives us an equation here. We've got variables on both sides. We want to know what value of W makes the equation true. And they gave us a model here. So remember, with these models, we want to make sure that they remain equal. So whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I need to get W by itself. So I'm going to start by getting rid of these 1's right here. And because I crossed out 3 of those on the left-hand side, I need to come over here and I need to get rid of 3 of them on the right-hand side. And then I have W's on both sides, so I want to start crossing off W's here. I cross off 4 here, which means I also need to cross off 4 over here. And I can see that on the left-hand side, I'm left with 1 W. And on the right-hand side, I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that the value of 1 W is 6. And I can check that by taking each one of these boxes here and putting the number 6 and adding it together. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 30, plus 3 makes this side 33. And here, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So I can see that my answer here is correct. So then looking at number 5, we have a circle graph, so I should probably be setting up proportions for a lot of my information here. Letter F says the amount of money budgeted for utilities and gasoline combined is less than the amount budgeted for the mortgage. If they were actually asking me to determine the actual amount of money, the dollar amount, then I would set up a proportion. But here, I don't know the total amount that this family budgeted, so I'm just going to work with the percents here. So utilities and gas combined. So I need to add those two together. So utilities is 20. Gas I can see here is 10, so that's a combined percentage of 30. It says is less than the amount budgeted for mortgage. Well, mortgage is also 30%, and those two percentages are equal. So I'm going to get rid of F. G says the amount of money budgeted for mortgage is half the amount budgeted for close. Well, I take a look at my graph here, and I see that mortgage is 30%, and close here is 15%. So this answer choice is saying that this number right here is half of this number over here, and I can see that that's not true. 30 is not half of 15. So H says the amount of money budgeted for groceries and clothes combined is twice the amount budgeted for utilities. So groceries here is 25, clothes is 15, and combined means I'm going to add them together. So I get 40%. And that says is twice the amount budgeted for utilities. Well, utilities is 20%. So we need to determine, is this number twice or 2 times this amount? And I can see that it is, but I'm going to check J just in case. The amount budgeted for gasoline and clothes combined. So once again, I'm going to take gas, and I'm going to take clothes, and I'm going to add them together. It says is greater than the amount budgeted for groceries. Well, groceries is 25%, and it's not greater. Those are equal. So we get rid of J. And the last question that you had on your spiral review is here about similar figures. So which equation must be true? So A says TV and RS equals TQ and RQ. So what I'm looking for is corresponding sides, sides that are in the same place on 2 different shapes. So TV is this side here, and RS is this side here. So far, I can see that I actually have 2 different triangles. I've got this big one here, and then I've got this smaller one here. So I can see that TV and RS are on the same place in that triangle. So far they correspond. Then I'm going to look at TQ. I can see that TQ is this long side over here of the big triangle. And then RQ is this side right here of the triangle. And they are in the same place. So my answer would be A.